Hi friends, today we are dealing with another topic of anti-inflammatory agents. This is related to our previous discussion on inflammation. So to begin with, we have what are anti-inflammatory agents, their classification. Now the classification depends on two types, that is the structure-based classification and the mechanism-based classification. So we have steroidal anti-inflammatory agents, non-steroidal anti-inflammatory agents, their mechanism of action, then the adverse effects and some drug interactions, and finally a list of marketed formulations. So now to begin with, what are anti-inflammatory agents? Certain drugs which are grouped into this class, they show analgesic, antipyretic and anti-inflammatory activity. Now since these agents they act on the peripheral pain mechanism, they are referred to as anti-inflammatory agents. These agents they are divided into two, as we know, steroidal and non-steroidal. So to begin with steroidal, since these agents they contain the basic steroidal ring, that is the cyclopentanoporhydrophenanthrene nucleus, these are referred to as steroidal. These steroidal agents they include glucocorticoids and mineralocorticoids. Glucocorticoids like cortisone, hydrocortisone, and mineralocorticoids like aldosterone, deoxycorticosterone. These glucocorticoids are divided into two, naturally occurring and synthetic. Naturally occurring like cortisone, hydrocortisone, and synthetic such as dexamethasone and prednisolone. So these synthetic glucocorticoids they just differ in few of the functional groups which are present on their basic steroidal nucleus than the natural one. So now mechanism of action of anti-inflammatory agents. So these steroidal anti-inflammatory agents they mainly inhibit the enzyme phospholipase A. Now this phospholipase A enzyme is actively involved in the synthesis of arachidonic acid and which subsequently form the prostaglandins. So now how these steroidal anti-inflammatory agents act? So now in the synthesis of arachidonic acid, there is formation of prostaglandins, prostacyclins. So now these prostaglandins and prostacyclins they are the mediators of inflammation, that is they are released at the site of inflammation. So by inhibiting the synthesis of arachidonic acid, subsequently we can inhibit the synthesis of prostaglandins and hence we can have an anti-inflammatory action. So these agents they block the enzyme that is responsible in the synthesis of arachidonic acid and hence they act as anti-inflammatory agents. Now certain adverse effects like they show immunosuppression, sometimes hyperglycemia due to increased gluconeogenesis, then sometimes osteoporosis, reduced muscle mass and repair, and finally adrenal insufficiency. There are n number of adverse effects shown by anti-inflammatory agents. These are not restricted to those which are seen in the slide. Now next we have non-steroidal anti-inflammatory agents. Non-steroidal anti-inflammatory agents, as the name suggests, they do not show any steroidal nucleus in their structure. Then they show analgesic and antipyretic effects. Now since anti-inflammatory, they need to show these three effects. That is the analgesic effect, antipyretic effect, and anti-inflammatory effect. Now depending upon the enzyme, mainly the COX enzyme, these non-steroidal anti-inflammatory agents they are classified. That is certain they have non-selective COX inhibitors, then we have preferential COX-2 inhibitors, then we have selective COX-2 inhibitors. Now depending upon Okay, so next we have classification of non-steroidal anti-inflammatory agents. Now these non-steroidal anti-inflammatory agents, since they act on the enzyme COX, they are grouped into different categories like non-selective COX inhibitors like aspirin, ibuprofen, then preferential COX-2 inhibitors like nimesulide, meloxicam, then selective COX-2 inhibitors, and finally certain anti-inflammatory agents that have analgesic and antipyretic activity, but the anti-inflammatory activity is very poor, like paracetamol. So next we have the mechanism of action of non-steroidal anti-inflammatory agents. These non-steroidal anti-inflammatory agents they mainly inhibit the synthesis of prostaglandins. That means we can say that they inhibit the enzyme cyclooxygenase which is involved in the generation of prostaglandins, prostacyclins, and thromboxane A2. That is these agents they block this synthesis and therefore there is no formation of prostaglandins and hence there is no release of prostaglandins at the inflammatory site, and so we can have an anti-inflammatory action. Now these non-steroidal anti-inflammatory agents they have three basic properties, that is analgesic, antipyretic, and anti-inflammatory. So now how these are analgesic? Usually prostaglandins, they induce hyperalgesia, but what these non-steroidal anti-inflammatory agents do is that they block the pain sensitizing mechanism which is induced by certain chemical agents like bradykinins, interleukins, tumor necrosis factors, etc., and hence they are effective against inflammation. Like during inflammation there is release of these chemical agents, and so by blocking this release, anti-inflammatory agents show the analgesic effect. Next is how these agents, they are antipyretic. Now during any infection there is production of fever. This production of fever is generally due to generation of certain pyrogens. These pyrogens may include interleukins, tumor necrosis factor alpha, certain interferons, etc. So now whenever there is production of these pyrogens, there is increase in the production of PGE2, that is prostaglandin E2, and hence there is a rise in the body temperature. Now what these non-steroidal anti-inflammatory agents do is they block the action of these pyrogens. By blocking the action of these pyrogens, there will be no production of these chemical agents, and hence they can reduce the fever, and hence they act as antipyretic. Now how anti-inflammatory? Now since this is the important mechanism, now these agents, they act as anti-inflammatory by inhibiting the prostaglandins, that is PG synthesis, at the site of injury. That means they stop the conversion of arachidonic acid to prostaglandins, prostacyclins, or thromboxane A2, and that is they majorly act on the enzyme cyclooxygenase, and hence they show the anti-inflammatory activity. So next we have the adverse effects of non-steroidal anti-inflammatory agents, which include dyspepsia, nausea, vomiting, then ulceration or gastric damage because of chronic use, and sometimes it shows delay or prolongation of labor. Then it shows asthmatic or anaphylactic reactions in certain susceptible individuals. Now, since already stated, these are not the limited adverse effects. There are a number of adverse effects other than these. Now next is there is a small list of certain marketed formulations. Like we all know the tablet Crocin, which contains paracetamol. Then we have Ibugesic, Ketofen, Voverin, Pyrox. All these are the brands which contains the anti-inflammatory agents. Now there are a number of brands available in the market, so we can use all those as anti-inflammatory products. Now this presentation is completely pharmacological point of view based presentation. So to deal with chemistry of each and every compound, we need to study steroidal as well as non-steroidal anti-inflammatory agents in further details. So to study these agents, please log on to our website and get the material free, that is www.pharmatorcos.com. Thank you.